but I was just starting to really think like, well, what does it look like to just maybe try some of these things that are out there that could be quick fixes for me. And I was, getting bombarded with the algorithms of things on my social media. All you have to do is watch one, right? So I was getting bombarded with those and realizing I was getting really close to trying some things that I couldn't even pronounce or that I didn't know what was in it. And did not like that. I knew in my gut that I didn't like that.
Welcome back, everybody. By now, I say this all the time. I love these because I can shout this stuff till I'm blue in the face. And it's a very different story when you hear it from someone who is living it, has been through it, knows the successes, knows the struggles. I'm exceptionally excited about my interview today with Mary because your coach, Amy, was an Ignite member, went through the program, changed her life, became a coach for us. And more as the years go on, a lot of our coaches are coming from former Ignite members. And that's one of my favorite things. I always tell you, I can teach you everything I know about macros, mindset, menopause, but having lived it, that's that spark you can't teach. So you got the double whammy of an incredible coach who's actually lived and breathed the program as well. So thanks for joining me today, Mary, and I'm excited to
Yeah,
chat with you.
thank you for having me.
So let's take it back pre-Ignite. Can you tell us a little bit mentally, physically, emotionally, like what was going on that just got you to your breaking point of something's got to give and that led you to us here?
Yeah, I mean, you name it. I had joint pain, weight gain, insomnia, fatigue.
Mm.
But and most importantly, I think I felt like a shell, of who I was before. And I really was one of those people who was pretty fortunate growing up. I never really struggled with weight gain as a young woman in particular. And even then, after I had kids, um, had kind of what I would consider, normal weight gain that comes with that, and your life changes, so you aren't moving as much in the same way and all those things. But I was able to get it off, in terms of it when I needed to. And then perimenopause hit, and that was just so not fun in any way, shape, or form. But I think that's what it was, and I was finding myself doing the quick fixes that weren't working anymore. I think about the time that I came on, I was at about 1,300 calories, but I think, definitely had tried lower than that, and was really just at my wit's end in terms of like considering, like, I don't know that would have seriously done it, but I was just starting to really think like, well, what does it look like to just maybe try some of these things that are out there that could be quick fixes for me. And I was, getting bombarded with the algorithms of things on my social media. All you have to do is watch one, right? So I was getting bombarded with those and realizing I was getting really close to trying some things that I couldn't even pronounce or that I didn't know what was in it. And did not like that. I knew in my gut that I didn't like that. And then I came across your video one day and something made me watch it, and then I watched it some more, and then I kept watching it, and then I just said, I think this is something I want to do. And similarly, my husband had just done something similar but different, that wasn't tailored for women in particular, but he was pre-diabetic, and so he was kind of doing a very similar thing literally right before I did, and so I watched him go through that. And so when I told him, I think I want to do this, he was just like, you have to do this for yourself.
Oh,
So
it's
I
a good
did.
one. He's a good one. We don't get a lot of those here. A lot of the husbands are
Yeah.
just eat less, move more, just go to a gym. So the fact that he knew you need to do this for you, that's powerful.
And I think he saw that when people say like, okay, well, you're not going to lose the weight because it overnight, because it didn't happen overnight. But I have to say, it almost felt like it happened overnight, right? And so I think for him, he saw that too. He saw a lot of things happen really fast for
Yeah.
me, and he saw that, and he didn't want that for me. And in terms of the suffering that it was kind of subjecting me to. And so I think it was a super easy, quick answer for him to say, just do it, because he saw benefits for himself. And then I think it also was just like, this is like weird. Like, this is both happening to us both at the same time. I think this is meant for us to do a journey together in some way, separate, but together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am very very lucky, believe me. I know that.
Man, it's so powerful what you just said. I know there's women watching when we post this who are immediately going to resonate with the like, I never had to think about this before, right? We always say we kind of help two schools of women. There's women who have struggled with weight their whole life. And then we have a lot of women who are like, I've always known what to do. Like I've been active, I've always been healthy, I've never been overweight. And then it's like once we start hitting this perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause stage of life, and the old tool bag stops working, it
Mhm.
becomes, I mean, you use powerful words. I became a shell of myself. It's like it becomes a self identity of who am I and what the heck do I do now when all the tools in my
Mhm.
tool bag aren't unlocking the door anymore?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it felt like it happened pretty fast.
Yeah.
And so that was also shocking too, because in terms of just that feeling every day of like, what am I doing wrong? I
Yeah.
mean, and I think, you've mentioned this before, that even like the people that are there to help you, doctors and things like that, I was shocked at how little they knew. Um, and 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 I didn't blame them for it either, right? Like I was just like, I mean, I had a very well-meaning doctor tell me, when I was talking about some of the symptoms and stuff of perimenopause, and I mean, my husband, I've always been a furnace, right? So even when I was in my 20s, I was emanating incredible heat. So this was that times 10.
Yeah.
So that wasn't surprising to my husband, like, you're really like emanating some heat tonight. I'm like, I know, but it didn't keep me up, right? This was starting to now keep me up at night. And it was, whatever. And I remember mentioning that to my doctor, and she just said, you can try, like, she named a couple of things. And then said, and you could try maybe having like a bag of frozen peas under your pillow. And I was like, okay, like that's not going to do it for me. Like
Yeah.
that is
There
that
has to be a better solution than that.
and again, I'm a hothead right now, so I will wake up to mushy peas. That's all that's going to happen out of this, right? So, but in that, it was just became clear, like I have to do this for myself, and that was both a blessing and a curse, because the curse part of it was I did start to embrace some of these things that were coming at me in the algorithm, and started really considering them out of desperation more than thoughtfulness. So then when I saw yours, I was like, wait a minute, this is making so much more sense to me. This is science. This is logical. This is, all those things. I'm a Virgo. I'm logical. Um, but I also was getting desperate. So
Yeah.
at that point, it was just the right timing. I believe things happen for a reason. So yeah,
Good.
that's what brought me here.
I love that. So we dive in, we get started. I love the
Yep.
words. It just made sense. Like that's music to my ears. As an educator, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
So as we were getting going, do you remember one, two, three specific, I like to call them aha moments where it's like, oh, this actually feels like it's working. This could actually be the thing that gets me back on the path.
Yes. So, I mean, for me, I don't know that it was like a particular thing, but it was a particular shift that happened um, pretty early on, I would say, just because, as we were doing the incremental increases in calories and all of that stuff, um, doing those incremental increases in calories, but not increasing on the scale was like, okay, sold. And then doing it again, sold again, right? And it reached a point, and then eating carbs again, and the scale's not going up. Like, you've got to
Yes.
be kidding me, right? Like, that was a huge one.
Yeah.
Um, Coincidentally, my husband also started making sourdough at home. And at first, when he started saying, I was like, oh no, like this is, and then it was just like, did you make one this week? What's happening? You need to make one. Like I'm counting on that now with my breakfast or with my dinner.
Yeah.
Um, and so embracing that again, it was a weird, like, the scale was not going down per se, but because my quality of life had increased and my relationship with food had healed in a different way without the scale going up, it was like it was going down,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
because I was enjoying it again, and without fear of that. And so in my head, I just kept thinking, okay, there's something around this that is working. And then of course little things along the way, now in particular, seeing those little shifts in my body and that kind of stuff. And I was trying to tell Amy the other day that, like, especially on days that I work out, that I'll lay on my side before I go to bed, and I can like rub my hand over my arm, and I can feel the state it's in before I go to bed. And then I wake up the next morning and I do the same thing, and I'm like, there it is. It's tightened up, it's gone down, it has healed overnight, it is doing what it's supposed to do. And even if you can't see it yet to where I want to see it, I can feel it. And so it's those little incremental things, like kind of embracing those along the way, that were my biggest ahas, I think.
Uh, I love how you just described a healing stage. So for those who are watching, one of the things we talk a lot about is what we call a healing stage, meaning if you're already eating low calorie and not losing weight, you have two options: GLP-1, 0 out of a gajillion recommend,
Mm-hmm.
or a healing stage, meaning get your body better burning calories. And the hardest pill for people to swallow is that a healing stage is not a weight loss stage. Right. And I
Mm-hmm.
always like to say, no one in the history of ever has come to me and said, Rachel, can you teach me to eat more food without gaining weight? We're here for the weight loss stage, but you can't run a marathon if you can't crawl.
Mm-hmm.
So, all that to say, your description of like, okay, I know the scale's not going to go down in a healing stage, but I feel so good without it going up. It may as well have gone down. Like, that is the mindset, because
Mm-hmm.
healing stages are always slow and tedious. They're never as
Mm-hmm.
fast as people want. So we can either sit here and be annoyed and frustrated and be like, "Oh, just get me to the weight loss stage," right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or we can be like, holy cow, I'm eating more, my energy's up, my workouts are more
Mm-hmm.
fueled, my sleep is better, and the scale's not moving. Like, it only gets better from here. And
Yeah.
that is literally the mindset that makes or breaks people's patience when it comes to this stage.
Yeah, and I think it's also, goes back to the not thinking of things as restrictive, or like not feeling like you're going without something,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, yes, there's a part of it that is, you want to get to that thing, you want to get to that goal line, and part of it eventually you will start cutting down, and that will be part of it. But at the end of the day, we also should, I mean, I shouldn't say should. Okay. So I, for myself, want to enjoy food. I want it to be, it is a part of our life. It's part of our social, things that we do. Um, in some ways, it's the way we express love. If I make something for you, or those types of things. So, um, you don't want to lose that either.
Yeah.
And so that's why for me, it was kind of like, oh, I know that I will lose some at some point here, because I'm going to trust this. Um, but for right now, I'm okay with this. Like, that I'm getting to enjoy some of these things again that I probably some of it had gone for years without. Like, just going, can't have that.
Yeah.
No, that's, it's going straight to my hips or whatever. And now
Yeah.
it's like, well, wait a minute, does it? you know and then it's those little things along the way, even testing it just day by day, like, okay, I'm going to see if this is really real, then I'm going to do this thing, and then it was real, right? So yeah, I think that was probably one of my biggest ahas along the way.
Real quickly, as a former teacher, differentiated learning is real. So if right now you're listening to this episode as a podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, know that it also exists in video form on YouTube. Similarly, if you're watching me right now on YouTube, know that this episode also exists as a podcast on all the platforms. So, however you take in information best, know that we've got you. The podcast exists both in podcast form and video form. We'll link both in the show notes below so you can learn however you learn best. Now, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, life's a lot better with sourdough in it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. And donuts, but yeah.
Yes. All right, here's my last question and my absolute favorite question. I want to put you in the coach's chair for a second.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to pretend on the other side of this call, instead of Rachel, the founder of Mindstrong, I am Rachel hitting perimenopause. Never had to think about this stuff before. My algorithm is filled with everyone claiming they've got the holy grail. And much like your story, I'm just feeling desperate. Like, I know there's that voice, the shoulds, right? I shouldn't be doing this stuff. I shouldn't be going down this path, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the heck else to do.
Right.
So then I seen my own little video there, And I'm skeptical, as one is in this industry. What do you, Coach Mary, say to nervous, skeptical, at her wits' end, Rachel?
So I think part of it is there is a piece of this of just accepting that it's okay that we didn't know
Yeah.
some of this stuff before, and kind of like forgive yourself before you even go into this, um, so that you can start from a place, and then it's kind of what I talked about, like healing the relationship with food. I think you're actually healing your relationship with your body, right? Like, and that in its natural state, that your body is actually only wants the best for you, right? It's almost like if in the case of a healthy relationship with a mom or a grandma or something like that, like it just wants the best for you. It wants to keep you alive, and it wants you to thrive, and it wants you to be healthy, and it wants you to be all those things. um and knowing whether or not we know it, we often do our darndest to go against that without meaning to. um some of it is just because it feels good. You want that other pizza, and you want this, and and just years of that. And some of it is the opposite of that, is like we've been told you have to do these things. um and so it's a little bit of healing that relationship and going, okay, all those things I listed at the beginning, the joint pain, the insomnia, those are all also in addition to hormonal changes, right, of things that are happening, that are signaling that things are changing. Some of it is also your body saying, like, really need you to just, you know, get some stress relief, do take care of yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, it's those signals to say you need to take care of yourself. And so with this, I think the biggest hurdle for people to think about when they think about, doing a program that isn't like, you know, instant results, is understanding that it is incremental. You're rebuilding a foundation. You're rebuilding trust with your own body. You're resetting things so that those good things can happen. Those good things can come. Um, and in that time, as you're building that, it's almost like, do you want to live in a house that was like just put up, in a week, or do you want one that brought in experts at every part of the way, and like
Mm.
crafted it and did the things that it needed to be a strong foundation and a strong support system and a great roof and all the bells and whistles? And so I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, I want the bells and whistles now. I'm like getting there. I'm starting to that, whatever. But those things didn't come without all of the other pieces. And if you want to go to those bells and whistles too quickly, it might look good for a little while, but those things are going to fall off the wall. The faucet's going to come off in your hand, and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so as I'm looking at that, I just think, stick with it, and lean on the people that you have within the program. It's the one thing that I would say that I never felt um not supported.
Mm.
Um, and so lean on them, though. There's so many resources within the program, and it kind of touches on everybody's different kind of learning styles. So if you're somebody who likes to read, there's stuff for that. If there's somebody that wants to listen, you've got the podcast. If you've got someone that you really need to have that one-on-one, talk to your coach. And so there's so many things. You just have to embrace it. You have to be open to the mind shifts that go along with it. um, and just remember that it will take a little bit of time, but at the end of the road of that, or during the road on that, you will start to see the things that you wanted to see, and probably more things that you didn't even expect to
Yeah.
see. um, and that they're all tied together. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is also being ready to embrace it, and like keep your eyes open for where things are coming up in your life that have nothing to do with weight loss, so that they're translating in the same way. Whether it's just being more intentional about everything that you do, right? And understanding then that really you don't have to be all or nothing on pretty much anything that you do. And that includes like the mood you wake up in, on that day. You could have a really crappy morning and it puts you in a worst mood. And congratulations, you're human. Like, that's what happens, right? But that doesn't mean you can't change. And that actually happens within the day. Like, I used to think like, well, you don't have to worry about it. You can start this again tomorrow. You can start, whatever. But the reality is you don't even have to wait till tomorrow. You can get halfway through the thing and look at your macros and go, oh man, yeah, this morning was whatever. But you know what? I'm gonna have a salad for dinner. And then
Yeah.
you put your thing in, boop, 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 and it comes back and you go, oh, look at that. Like I'm not that far off anymore. And so that's what I would say. Like don't go in ready for a journey. Don't go in for a quick fix, and it will be amazing. I mean, if you're willing to embrace it.
Oh, oh, put that on a billboard. I love that you started that with the release the shame, blame, guilt, right? Like we get so many women that, especially we work with like a lot of nurses, and it's like, well, I should know this. And the answer is always, how should we? Like if we're not teaching
Hmm.
this in med school to doctors, how are we supposed to know this? Right. And then I loved what you said about just, I call them hashtag bigger life statements. As humans, we can't compartmentalize and say, today, I'm going to heal my relationship with food and I'm going to not think all in, all out when it comes to macros. Like, we're humans. When you start approaching food that way, when you start approaching workouts that way, get a
Hmm.
snowball rolling down a hill. It's not all or nothing. It's going to show up in other areas of your life, whether we're conscious of it or not.
Hmm. Yeah.
Amazing. Mary, is there anything I didn't ask you that we didn't touch on that you want to share about your journey?
No, I mean, I just think really, embracing the tools. There's so many great little tips and tricks, especially like that your fellow Ignite members will share with you, like on Facebook pages and things like that. And a lot of them were key, like
Yeah.
especially early on. I like one of them was, I think I don't do this all the time, but on some days I do, where I will look at my macros for the whole day and I will just divide it by four. And that's my three meals and my snacks. And I just like make it so they're like mini goals throughout the day instead of this big one. And that has helped a lot, right? Because it also helps me to kind of evenly distribute throughout the day, both in terms of energy and food and all of those things. So that was one. And then the other thing is I always start my day by putting in something that I want that day.
Mm,
I don't care what it is, whether it's I know I'm going to go meet a friend for coffee and I want to have a donut that morning, or I know we're going to be, I've been hankering for a particular dessert and I'm going to make it for dinner that night. And I put that in first, and then I just work backwards from that. And it's just like, that wasn't so bad. I mean, it's there, but it's balanced with all of the other things that you want to get. So lean on those resources, especially on those tips and tricks in the beginning that will help this feel a lot more manageable and a lot more doable. And when life gets crazy, like this actually for me, we went through some pretty horrendous things in the last few months in terms of family loss and things. And I just don't know. I mean, for me, timing is everything. And I remember telling Amy, I was like, when everything felt chaotic and everything felt as dark as it possibly could, like this was just so grounding and so controllable and so all those things that I actually looked forward to it every day, like just like, okay, this is a thing I can do
yeah.
and I can focus on healthy eating. And then that made me stronger to help support folks in my life that I wanted to be there for. And then in a weird way, because I was doing it, they were doing it. So like in a time when you just don't want to eat or you want to eat nothing but bad things, like
Mm,
there were choices around them that were easy for them to tie into. And so I want people to understand like it is such a foundational piece to your life to regain things like sleep. I mean, the sleep thing was big,
yeah.
really big. So regaining sleep, regaining that love for food and versus a fear of it. Um, and and same thing with exercise, just in terms of like not if you fear it in some way or you have an aversion to it, like just baby steps into trying new things and you might find something you just absolutely love, right? But the goal really is just move, move every
Yeah.
day a little bit, yeah. So yeah,
Oh, how powerful. Especially, I mean, nutrition for most of us is the thing that has felt the most out of control for so long. And when we can flip that script and it becomes the thing that grounds you, like, oh, wait,
yeah,
all of life feels out of control, but this is my anchor.
yeah,
Talk about a 180 and a mindset shift and a life shift.
yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
incredible.
been pretty cool.
Oh, well, I know there are going to be so many women who watch this and just resonate with you so deeply, just about everything you talked about, the mindset shifts, the healing relationship with food, the feeling lost and desperate. And I know you're going to give them hope that We don't need drugs. We don't need the next fad diet. Like, yes, it takes some time to master the skill, but that's it. As you beautifully put it, you're building the house from the foundation up, and we've got a whole big, beautiful life ahead of us. So let's do it correctly.
Oh,
But thank
well,
you so
thank
much,
you.
Mary.
Oh, thank you.